skip it. You know what I was thinking when I was walking the other day? I was thinking that how can a person know if someone is no longer interested in them? Like, what would be the biggest sign of that, other than them saying it?
Change, right? Response, change.
That men or women or both. Right. Elaborate. Like, she don't got time for you. She ain't making no time for you.
He's not paying as much attention to you as he used to.
But what if he never really did? Like, he's casual in the very first place. How are you even going to know?
It would be even less.
What?
It would be even less.
Wow.
It would have to be, right?
Right.
How much attention does one show to something they ain't interested in?
A lot, because there's a lot of times that men are bored and they know that she's checking for him, checking for you, and I'm bored today. Let me call her up because she is always available because she wants me. So then you don't really know the difference because men stay bored, to me. Females' perspective, they stay freaking bored. They're always looking for the next butt and cute face, and that's when their intention goes elsewhere.
So what's the man? Where's the woman? What's the sign for the woman?
The woman is
that far as that she starts becoming so interested. What's
I think for me it would be short, like, what you doing? Nothing. Or you busy? Yeah. Or text tomorrow, or yeah. But if she comes with an explanation as to why, like sometimes women, we go through a lot of things emotionally. We're just emotional creatures, so there's times when we're just like, I won't be bothered this week. It's nothing personal. I just don't want to be bothered. So then when I come back and say, I may or may not say sorry, but I would just expect a man to understand that we're emotional, and there's always a couple weeks out of the month where we're just like a little crabby and a little less caring. But when we're on, like we're good, we're all over you, but...
So then that's very complicated then for
it's
the man.
Very.
How is he able to distinguish the two?
He cannot.
Like,
He's not supposed to know.
Is she?
Because we don't want him to know that we're emotional, because then it'd be like, she's too freaking emotional. Our emotions are too all over the place, and I can't deal with it. We can't help it. This is how God designed us. He designed us to be full of hormones and full of emotion, and sometimes we can't take it, which is why people don't want a female for president, because they're figuring that freaking emotional. But I just think that even me, I'm older. You would think that I would have a better management compared to like my daughters. I'm older and I just shut down. I'm just like, F everything. I'm not even talking. I don't care. And I need a nap and some chocolate. It's a true story.
So a man needs a psychologist and a box of chocolate.
Always. And always be willing to like butter her up. Like, okay, she's off. Let me see what I can do. Let me tell her I love her.
So
or
then,
something. I'm being serious.
I mean, I'm thinking when you say this and I'm listening. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So the man has to be very attentive, observant.
Yes.
Show some compassion.
Yep.
And understanding. Boy, that's a lot.
It's very much.
That's a lot.
He wants a woman, right? He has to understand the makeup of a woman. And I think a lot of times relationships don't work because they're like, she's too moody. Like, yeah. Or she's just on and off, hot and cold. Yeah. He's argumentative today. Everything's great. Thank you.
A little bit?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Okay, thanks for checking. So, if a man wants a woman, he just has to understand her dichotomy, that her makeup is. And same for women. Like, we have to understand if a man is going through a thing, we have to be able to pick up on the signals. Once we get to know.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then also by me saying that that's a lot doesn't mean it can't be achieved. You know what I mean? Like,
how did you think people stay together 50 years?
That's right. It can be achieved. It's just that it's a list. It's a list of things. So is it safe to say that in a relationship, the job for the man is a little more heavier? The workload's a little more heavier.
Well,
go ahead.
Emotionally and mentally, women has to be. The brunt of he has a lot of things just to be doing. Like, everyone expects the woman to cook. keep the house clean, take care of the children, work.
Well, the work was added.
Right. So I'm just saying, like,
Right,
we
you guys,
have
by
a,
the way.
right? But I'm just saying that we have a heavier responsibility. I think the man just basically has to protect the home. That's it.
Oh, and
Make sure nobody runs up.
That's it.
Basically, I said, like, with her doing all of these things, it's necessary for her to feel protected in this space. You know, like, I'll do all this, but it has to be in a space that's loving and protected. I don't want to do all this for somebody who's running amok, acting wild, doesn't care if I live or breathe. You know, we can't function in that because that's part of our emotional. Of course, I've made it 56 years. I know.
A lot of this is almost common sense, though, you know? What about the woman in the axe? The woman who's...
He has taken her of her, you know, yeah. Okay. He has made her feel some kind of way. And there ends the high level of communication that's required. If he asks her what's wrong, and she says nothing, he needs to ask about 5 more times because she's probably going to give in on the 6th. I'm not saying back to back. I'm just saying give her space because sometimes she has to dissect what's wrong. It may not be simple. It may be a hard day at work that's spilled in the home. It could be the kids are driving her bananas and she needs a or it could be her family's getting on her nerves, her out, you know, friends, family, all that. Like women, we take all of that on. So if we're crabby or whatever, it's because we're just going through a thing.
So you do realize that it's better that a man dwell in the rooftop of his home,
yeah,
than live with a nagging woman.
No.
Yeah.
Go for it.
It's the very thing that could run a man away or look elsewhere.
Okay, break down nagging. How often? What is nagging? Like if she's
obviously too much to break the peace up. I believe that's all a man like you know what you've described. The man needs to work, protect. I believe after that, his reward is peace.
Yeah.
The man wants peace, right?
Yeah, and I believe that he deserves it because that is a heavy lift as well.
So if he don't get it,
it'll just be temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah, he can go somewhere else and find it, and then be like, okay, but this ain't my wife, my main, or whatever. It's just not gonna flow the same.
So he'll just decide to live up in the rooftop.
Right.
Okay, and then how's that gonna look?
It's gonna be a little hectic.
And listen, and that's if there ain't no kids.
Right.
So you said kids, but what about the woman without kids? Now, two may be able to sleep at night in one room or the other. With kids, it gets a little tougher because now you're talking about your
whole house.
Yeah, it's like a domino effect.
It is.
And, you know, kids can sense all that.
Mm-hmm.
They have those senses.
And you don't want to be the one who's creating the unstable environment with your attitude or with your, you know, always keeping up the confusion. Like, you don't want that to be on you if you're a woman, you know? What? You don't. The worst thing that you want to know, that you want to hear, like, let's say somebody's married and they go over their friend's house and they go over their friend's house and they go to their friend's house. She gets on my nerves. She's always nagging. Friend is got a wife who's a friend of your wife, so she goes home and says, he said you're always nagging. So then I'm like, when am I nagging and what am I nagging about and why are you telling people that I'm always nagging, you know, right?
Yeah, she's in
instead of you bringing it to her and saying, you're nagging about blah, what's the root of that nag? Like, is it really what you're nagging about, or is there something else going on that we can communicate about and work through so that, like, that particular nag will never come up again, because we now know that it's not the laundry, it's not the cooking, it's not the house, it's something, right? So that's when the communication is key. Like, you have to find out what the root is, because it's never with the woman, never the thing that she's complaining about. For example, with me coming out of my apartment with an attitude, it's not that you got here at 2, it's more I'm hungry. And I didn't eat all day because I didn't want to be full. However, go ahead, I'm just kidding. That's it.
I just was going to say.
That was the underlying.
The communication. Yeah. Right? The guy says, I apologize, I didn't know that you had something else to do, which you forgot.
Yeah. Well, no.
That's communication.
I told
Having a level
you.
of understanding.
But I told you.
Yeah, if it was only that simple. You know, that
If what was
complaining, I
on-
called it earlier today, that complaining, it's a spirit.
It is. And
if
it's
it's
one
been-
that brews.
If it's been passed down, because most things get passed down through the household, through the mama, the daddy, right, the grandmother. It's just it's
That's a
inherited.
true story.
So sometimes it goes a little deeper than just saying you're nagging, honey, and then they say, "Oh, okay, I am." It don't always go like that. Matter of fact, most of the time it don't go like that. Does a woman even realize she's nagging when she nags?
No.
She might be immune to it.
Right.
Because she's done it for so long
Right.
and so much.
Yeah. And she grew up in a house where it was happening.
Exactly. What's a man to do?
I don't know. Like, he's going to have to figure it out if he wants her.
Oh, they have to figure it out. If
He
the man
loves
got
her.
it,
Have a bad attitude.
he got to be tough,
And-
a psychologist,
Yeah.
skill.
Right. I think that a lot of men don't realize that their responsibility is just as, big as the woman.
I think it's a little bigger.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think you perfectly described it.
Yeah.
It's a
But
little
we
bit.
have responsibilities to the man as well.
Some of these things should come natural.
And yes, and
You say the kids are tired, they need this and that from
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and I agree with that. But a lot of that should come natural. I mean, a woman is
To tolerate all that.
She's the nurturer, so
Yeah.
naturally, right?
it's natural, but it's still a heavy burden.
Okay.
Sometimes you just don't, and part of it is you don't feel appreciated sometimes. You feel like you're doing all this, trying to be this perfect person, and nobody sees it. They act like it's just part of your job duties, and it's just like, I will give this example. My dad, he's been with my stepmom for 52 years, and I don't remember a time that we ate dinner at the table, and he didn't say, "Thank you, honey, it was good." I don't care if it was a bologna sandwich. He always said that, and I just thought, do you have to? Because this is like not that big of a deal that she's cooking, but it is because she just got off work. She kicked off her clothes and shoes and started cooking so that we could eat at a reasonable time. She's always the first one up and the last to go to bed. Me not understanding that that's being appreciated is huge, and
So
every day.
acknowledgement is big.
It is
I
huge.
can
So I
see
think
that.
that's what a lot of the nagging comes from. Like, do you see everything I'm doing around here? And you just think this is my job?